So now it's my pleasure to welcome our board member, my dear friend, the Prime Minister, Matteo Renzi. So Matteo, are you with us finally? Were you able? Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Finally.
Thank you.
A long fight, but I'm ready. Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Prime Minister. So how Italy is doing, Prime Minister, first of all, how are you doing? How Italy is doing?
Oh, Italy, of course, had a lot of problem, particularly in the first part of coronavirus spread. And now the situation is a little better. It's, I think, everyone understand finally that problem wasn't only an Italian problem, but a global problem. And more or less the numbers in Italy are the same in Spain and in France. The real challenge today is not only reinvent the new economy, robotics, relation between artificial intelligence and digital technology, but also facing in this year of a new normalities year, because we have virus will be present for maybe 12 months, 18 months, we don't know, before the vaccination, and at the same time start today to create a new world. And that is a problem for relation between Italy and Europe, between Italy and the new generation, between the new gap, not only north and south in Italy, but not only establishment and people, but also the gap between the people with a traditional job and the people with a new job. So it's a very complicated time. I joke because, I came from Florence. I'm in Florence now in lockdown as with my family. And I think it's the same situation after the plague of 1348. After Christ, because after the plague, a lot of people believed in the past, oh, this is the end of the world. Really, after the plague of 1348, really, Italy and Florence create a renaissance. My wish is for Italy and for the rest of the world, this coronavirus, new plague, should be the occasion, the opportunity to create a new renaissance, a new vision, a new horizon for the future of the world. And that is not easy, but it's a great and challenging occasion.
You know, Prime Minister, you inspired the FII Institute because, as you know, last week, the whole board made a decision about the main team of what will be the FII conference team, the physical one, end of October, on the 28th and the 29th of October in Riyadh, which will be the 4th edition. So you are giving me the opportunity to share in almost exclusivity with our participant the 2020 theme of the FII, which will be the Neo-Renaissance, precisely.
Yeah, Neo. And we discussed about Neo and New. I think there is not copyright for Renaissance. The real challenge is try to have the same attention, because Renaissance in Florence was a unique combination of finance and culture, identity and manufacturing. I think that is the priority for the world of tomorrow, also because Renaissance, Neo-Renaissance, will be particularly important after this geopolitical revolution. Richard, please think about what could happen in China, in USA, in Europe. Today, in this moment, there is a very important European Council. So I believe the world after coronavirus will be exciting.
Precisely, Prime Minister, what type of multilateralism will emerge post-crisis, and what role can the G20 play in shaping a better future for humanity, Prime Minister?
I believe G20 today is the best place to try to give an answer. Of course, virus show, in my opinion, all the limits of the vision of sovereignism and populism, because virus don't respect the frontiers, the borders, and everyone is totally connected to others. So now we see how it's important to have a geopolitical strategy and a multilateral leadership. But frankly speaking, my friend, I think United Nations is not in condition to play that role because it's very complicated. Unfortunately, I believe in the United Nations historical role, but today is not the place. At the same time, G7 is little to give answer in this new world. So I believe G20 is the right format. And I think for Saudi Arabia and for the host of this G20 in November of this year will be an unbelievable opportunity because we need a global strategy. When I was prime minister, I remember how many times President Obama told us, "Oh, it's important to fight against pandemic. It's important to be afraid about the risk of Ebola." And I remember I discussed with some colleagues of G7 and G20. Oh, maybe Barack is too much worried for pandemic. Really, now we understand that strategy was correct, and an effort of all the nation in 2014 2015 maybe saved from the first pandemic. Of course, coronavirus is different, COVID is different from Ebola, but I think it's important, and my opinion is that in November we will have an unbelievable new world. Okay, I cannot speak about the geopolitics, but G20 will arrive exactly after the election in USA because we'll be in November 22nd, 23rd. So 3 weeks after the election for the race for White House. Europe in this period is really in trouble because finally Europe understood the importance of change. And in the last 4 weeks, Europe last 4 years. This is very important. Finally, maybe Europe understand the importance of this change. And I believe the leadership of KSA could play a very interesting role, not only for economy, because of course this year will be a year of recession. Of course, this is clear, but to write the new page of future. For example, artificial intelligence and healthcare are the keys for the future. Not only to fight against pandemic, because of course we discuss a lot about apps to track the people, but with artificial intelligence, everything is possible today. This is a reality. Please thinking about robotics. If we invest finally in robotics, prevent a lot of problems linked to pandemic, but in general, to create a new economic world, robotics should be a very important asset. So in my view, my dream is that G20 have to be very important, not only for economy. Of course, G20 is the house of economy, is the place of discussion for economy, but also to give a vision who could combine together culture, identity, innovation, and of course, economy. This is my wish for G20 in Riyadh. Combine all together, and for that, neo-Renaissance is the key, is the pillar.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to see you again very soon. I hope that we'll be able to visit Italy this summer and definitely to host you in Riyadh end of October for the Neo Renaissance. Thank you for joining us.
Grazie. Merci, Richard. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prime Minister.